Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie and this is Misty, my tiny wagon. Today I will take you way back in time to March of 2020 when Misty's journey started with my purchase of a flatbed trailer, a used one actually. You will be able to watch the construction process step by step, and I'll point out some lessons learned along the way, as well as facts and some helpful resources throughout the video, so be sure to watch it all the way to the end. In a spurt of inspiration, I bought a used 7x12 flatbed trailer, maximum load 3,600 pounds. I started doing internet research to get a basic idea of the whole building process and to figure out where to even begin. Instructables.com was a great resource for free, complete guides on how to build a Vardo. For the bottom walls around the metal frame, I used 3/4 inch marine plywood and waterproofed it with oil-based primer and paint. I also jacked up the trailer to make sure it's level. So I started with some basic framing, and they're all 2x2s. There's a little bit of an angle, it gets wider on top, and then on top there is going to be a round roof. So I'm right now ready to put the first tongue and groove down, so I'm really excited. So I put one layer of wood sealer and stain on it just because there's supposed to be rain coming, and I'm gonna cover this with a tarp, but I want it to have the exterior kind of protected. There were a lot of decisions that came into this because you can't put a standard door in, so gotta decide on the door height, complete height of the trailer, but it's gonna be 8 feet high from floor to top. And here you can see some of the framing I've done. It's all 2x2s, and I have bolted the frame to the metal frame, and I'll do some additional reinforcements. But like I said, I'm almost done with the framing, so let's go inside. I've got it all laid out in my head. So you see the blue line? This is the size of my bed. I want to have a full-size bed, and this marks the platform that the mattress is going to sit on. And then you have the shelf coming in that you can store stuff. Underneath will be storage. We'll have one chair here, one seat, 24x30. We'll have one on the other side. And then there will be a pull-out table and lots of storage underneath. I left this open because it'll have 2 doors from the outside, and I may put like the battery pack or the water tanks here that they are accessible from the outside. I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. Over here is gonna be a window, and there's a smaller window here. This will be my kitchen area, and it'll have a propane gas stove and a propane fridge. And here we go, that's it for now. Big moment, we're gonna get ready to put the roof on, and so I made these shapes beforehand so it's easier to mount it instead of being up there and installing it. But I used a template, and my friend helped me with the template here. This is the template we created, so it's easier to cut it all out and make it matching. Everything is glued and screwed. Everything is glued, even under here. It's gonna go up here. So we're gonna have a round shaped roof, and it's gonna look great. Roof is going up. I'm so excited. Have I told you that I'm not a professional builder yet? My background is I cosmetically fixed up 2 homes in the past, but I've never built anything like this before.
actually had a contractor install the metal roof for me.
So as a matter of fact, I am completely self-taught in construction, and that's probably why it took me over a year to finish Misty, and the fact that I have carpal tunnel syndrome, so I could only work like with tools maybe 3 hours a day, otherwise the pain would keep me up all night.
I used 2 inches of insulation in the floor and the walls and 4 inches of insulation in the roof. On the interior, I used 1/4 inch birch plywood for the walls and 1/8 of an inch plywood for the ceiling.
Okay, so I hit another milestone. All the windows are in. I custom built them, did some decoration already on the outside. Still need to waterproof and caulk it, but haven't installed the hardware yet on the inside. Like I said, this ramp is for my puppy, it's not for humans. So the milestone though is on the inside, which I did all the siding, and it looks pretty ugly right now. I realized that you know, all the gaps, I had to go with, like, you know, you do some mistakes when you don't know what you're doing. So the blue tape here is like, I figure instead of just making notes or drawing a picture where the electrical is, I better mark it with blue tape so I don't accidentally drill into it when I install cabinets and stuff. So that's why the blue marks are here. It will need a lot of refining and refinishing and trim work and, you know, all that, but for now the rough work is done and I'm ready to start on the floor. I had to reduce the size of the chairs a little bit because I realized when I just ordered my fridge and my range. So the fridge is going here, and when I laid it all out with the tape, I realized how little space I have. There is very little counter space. Like the sink's gonna go here, the range is gonna go here, and this is, yeah, the fridge. There's a seat here, and instead of storage, if you lift it up, you're gonna have all my electrical stuff here. So all my wires are routed to this place, and they're all kind of labeled so I know which wire is what. And I keep those sides open. It's going to be exterior storage. It's nice to have that airflow right now, so I keep it open as long as possible. I want to have the wood floor throughout. I want to have it all sealed and finished, and then the next step would be to build the bed. So I ended up simplifying a lot of things just because it was very hard to even find help who would come out, a professional help, who would come out to my location and do some custom work for me. You know, they're all familiar with like RVs and all that stuff. With a gypsy wagon, with the wiring, with my electrical, I could not find a soul. I had 2 people bail out on me to install solar systems and connect it to my wiring and install the inverter and converter, that stuff. So I cut all the wires, stuck them back in the wall, and went with a portable solar panel, and it's fine. I don't need even more. So I simplified everything. I don't have any big water tanks underneath my bed. I have 2 5-gallon water tanks under my sink, and they're portable. I can pull them out. I can leave Misty wherever I am. I can drive to town, get my water, and come back. So it's a lot simpler and cheaper. I didn't have to hire anyone to do it. So yeah, simplified a lot. Because at some point you gotta cut your losses. There is, you know, you can learn so much, but at some point it was overwhelming to me. So simplify.
So if you want to do something like this and you have no prior experience, prepare yourself to ask a lot of questions, and expect not to get the answer right away, because a lot of times it took me several times to find the answer because I didn't know the proper jargon to ask the specific question. So for example, if I wanted, on a Facebook group, I asked like, how do I wire my 12-volt water pump to plug it into my power pack? And so they asked me back, well, what's the amps and what's the voltage? Well, how do I know that? So I have to do my research, and then I can ask a question again and ask it more specific till the point that I actually get the answer, because then there's different 12-volt plugs you use. Anyway, it's insane. So yeah, just expect to be confused for a while. So I ended up not even using that 12-volt water pump because it wouldn't work with my Jackery. So I got a foot pump, manual foot pump, and it works just fine. Storage is very important to me, and I had extra space around the mattress, so I added a few cabinets in my sleeping loft. Most Vardo doors swing out. My beautiful hinges are very easy to take apart, so for safety I decided to have my Dutch door open to the inside. My first ever epoxy pour was a huge mess. When I was doing the river table countertop pour, I had leaks everywhere. I was trying to stop the leaks with duct tape, and so I crawled underneath and tried to patch it all up, and I ended up having epoxy everywhere, in my hair, on my body, in my clothes. Everything was sticky. It was a disaster. Because of the leak, I didn't have enough epoxy, and for the final pour I used a different product, which was a huge mistake. It all turned gray. I used a planer an angle grinder and the sander to remove that final 1/4 inch pour that I did that turned gray, and it was a complete mess. There was dust everywhere. But then after many hours of sanding, I finally saw its beauty again. Poor Ralphie, I had to defrost him. Here's an update on the wagon. It's like mid-January right now, 2021, and I'm in the finishing stages now, so I'm so excited. This is the epoxy countertop that I had so much trouble with, but it turned out beautiful. The fridge is in, the range and oven is in. I got the seats and a pull-out table here, and of course the bed area up here, and I can't wait to decorate it. I found the perfect fabric for my upholstery. It's time to do some sewing. This copper sink is handmade, and I ordered it directly from Egypt. I chose to build shelves instead of cabinets because it keeps the space more open and spacious, and it only takes me a minute to put the dishes away when I travel. This lamp is another handmade piece that I ordered from India. I chose a full-size memory foam mattress, and it actually feels way more spacious. It feels like a queen size up there. It felt like a major accomplishment to have the interior completed and, cozy. But there were a few more things that needed to be done on the exterior, like the fold-out deck and some cosmetic stuff. So then Misty is finally ready for her first trip to the way station and for me to practice some parking and stuff. We try hitch her up, and we cannot pull her out because she was so close to the rain gutters of the roof of the garage that it was impossible to get her out. Thanks for my nice neighbor who helped us out. Watch this. So just for your information, Ralphie ate something really gross this morning. You do not want to know what it is. So if you like us, feel free to buy a cup of coffee in the description below to show your support, and remember to sign up to my channel because every little bit helps. Thank you. Yeah. We're not quite done yet. I want to share some fun facts with you, so I did some number plugging. Hang on for 1 second. I want to share that with you. Costs and all that stuff. So hang on. Here are a few fun facts for you. Misty's construction began on April 14th of 2020, and I completed her on May 11th of 2021 on the day we left for her maiden voyage. Worked on Misty for about 362 days for an average of about 3 hours a day, which brings the total hours of labor to about 1,086 hours, not including the hours family and friends stopped by to help me out a little bit. The size of the flatbed trailer is 7 by 12. Misty's total height is 9.5 feet. She weighs 3,600 pounds, and I spent a little bit over $15,000 on her. The one thing I would do differently if I were to do it all over again, I would buy a double axle trailer with brakes. I had brakes installed on Misty afterwards, and that came with a very hefty price tag. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.